Welcome to another episode of the Center Circle podcast. Top one podcast for all things football. My favorite podcast in the world. Your favorite podcast in the world. I'm here with my guys.
As always.
I'm here with my guys as always. Little Giants. I'm here with Chooks. I'm here with Chappy Chase.
Cappy Chase.
Cappy Chase.
It's Chappy.
Cappy
No
Chase.
Cappy now.
This man is trying to say I cap a lot.
Because
cap
you
a
actually,
lot, bro.
you actually do Cappy law.
That's Arsenal.
It's factual information. Bro.
Please, man.
Chappy, a lot of attention is going to be on you today. But on today's episode, let's start with just brief roundup. In fact, no brief roundup. Let's just start where it's hot. So, let's start with the FA Cup. Let's start with some things that we saw in the FA Cup. Let's start with Chelsea, Manchester City, and what we saw there. Like, I'm going to start by saying that on this podcast, someone has been trying for a bit now to like sell the idea that Chelsea Football Club still represents a potent threat to some of the bigger boys, still represent a threat to clubs like Arsenal. And you people know what I'm talking about when I say this. So represent a threat to clubs like Man City and the rest. And I keep saying it. When they say, there was a time we're having a conversation on the podcast and it's like, Arsenal still have a lot of games to play. They still have a lot of strong opponents to play.
E.g. Chelsea.
E.g. Chelsea. And I'll be like, the very same Chelsea. But we'll touch on that in a bit. We'll get there soon. What did you guys think? Because to me, the result was what I expected. I didn't see Chelsea having any chance against Man City. Those guys don't have, the quality of the manager is suspect, if you ask me. The quality of the players, massively suspect. Players like Nicholas Jackson, for example, I don't see how, that's not, like, that's a West Ham level striker, if you ask me.
Well, I think this fixture has been fair in creating a kind of final that will make for an appetizing fixture. Say some 10, 15 years back, you would have seen Chelsea versus who did Man U play? Coventry or
Coventry.
Yeah, then Man United, Man City. So one of them, and possibly an underdog in the days of Reading and co. You find them having a route to the final. That said, I also believe any club parading from the start, a Jackson as a number 9, has no competitive ambition. And to make matter worse, talking about the coach being suspect, I saw Raheem Sterling coming in the 87th minute where Jackson has harvested loads of waste, one-on-ones, wrong tappings. And so I'm wondering, like, in future, we will glorify, congratulate Pep Guardiola, but I think we are in a season where in England, there are no befitting competition for Manchester.
There's no competition.
The Manchester City is stacked from back to forth with players with intentions. The Chelsea people just get there, but run back and come again. And you hear a Cole Palmer, nothing. At that match, they were rendered impotent. United got their 3 goals. I was going for a meeting that Sunday. I rose up from where I was watching the match, 59th minute. By the time I got to the place, 70th minute, I took my phone to check 3-3. And look, if there were medical people nearby, it would have been an opportunity for me to collapse. From 3-0 against Coventry.
Against Coventry
to
City.
3-3.
In an FA Cup semi-final.
And then you started laboring. Getting to
And they could have won.
time.
They could have won if
I
not for
started
that
praying for
VAR.
Coventry to get a result because they are laboring meaningfully. Man United were laboring to the gallery.
And we'll touch on that in
As a Man U fan, I wanted to faint, but I will faint alone. During sometime in February, a man fainted where people resuscitated him and gave him something to eat. You don't faint alone, you faint in public. Man United, I think that was even, I don't know what should they put up against Manchester City. I don't know the plan in Man United, but this should be Ten Hag's last season.
I don't think that there has been a more easy to call FA Cup final in a long time because I don't see United having any single shred of a chance against City in the final. Why are you laughing? What's the key laugh?
No. Go ahead.
What's making you laugh, Chappie?
No, go ahead.
Say your
I
mind.
wanted to face.
No, I wanted you. I wanted you to be
What's-
done with what you were saying
because-
before I can chip in.
Before you
something.
get chippy, okay, I'm through.
No, go ahead.
I said I'm through. Say what's on your mind.
you
You said it's
You're
true
saying-
now.
I said I'm through now.
No, I don't have anything to say right now. I'm expecting it to be done.
Okay, well, Tricks.
I mean,
Tricks, I mean,
man, can't stop talking about Chelsea. You know, the thing is, you don't expect anything from a Chelsea team. Like, you don't expect anything from a Chelsea team. And you could say the Chelsea team played maybe some very good football against Man City.
God forbid.
But when it came to taking the chances,
They had more chances.
they had more chances on that game. Let's be factual. Right? If Nicholas Jackson 5 was able to put to bed, or at least even if it was half of the chances he got, Chelsea would have won that game.
Mind you.
Hold on.
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
No,
sorry.
no. I will say what I have to
I
say.
just remember. Okay, let me remind you something.
Okay.
Remember that previous game? It was debating on taking the penalty from Cole Palmer.
Bro,
Let me
Bro,
remind you of that.
like-
we need to roast. We need to
No,
fry.
see.
Let's cook.
Like,
Let's
bro.
cook
Wait,
this
wait,
Chelsea-
wait.
Production.
Let's cook these Chelsea
Please.
people.
We need a Chelsea fan
Yeah.
on the Center Circle podcast. Someone needs to be a rep of that club to tell us what's going
We
on.
need
See,
one.
a
urgent.
farce.
See, guys. You know, you look at all they did that day, you're like, you want to pity them.
Yeah.
But then, if you see how wasteful, how nonchalant, and uninspiring Nicholas Jackson and his gang of useless Chelsea players,
Madueke.
bro, you can't feel any pity for them, because you know that
Well,
even with all that, Man City did the job, and they're in the finals, and they're going to play against Man U.
who
It says semi-twins of Chelsea, right? Did you see that game? Coventry City. People from the convent playing convent football, right? I don't understand.
They are not from the convents.
I mean, you know what I mean? But bro, religious church football,
In fact,
Sunday school football, right? And Man U lost a 3-goal lead. 3-goal, not one, not two,
Please, I need you
not
to
three.
say it. A 3-goal lead to Coventry in a
Semi-final.
semi-final
in
Of
15
the
minutes.
FA Cup.
of the FA Cup.
The
They
big-
scored
At Wembley
They
Stadium.
scored the last
No,
one.
come on,
No,
man.
no, it's
They scored
embarrassing.
the last
There's
one
certain
in
things-
90
it's
plus.
embarrassing.
There are certain things that
It's embarrassing.
should not happen,
Sacrilege. People should be sacked.
right? I was thinking that by now we would have heard some news from the Man U quarters that somebody has been told to go, somebody has been told to, man, your season is over. So come on, man. Come on, like, how do you lose?
Ten Hag has broken lots of records.
Nah,
at
How do you
United.
lose?
A
No,
three-goal-
bro, no,
a
we
three-goal
keep
lead at
we keep
Wembley.
putting it on Ten Hag. No,
They boxed up at his table.
no.
Also, who?
So-
Players were on that pitch.
They were picked by the manager.
No, players were on that pitch. My brother, it comes to a time when you need to take responsibility as a player for your team. Like you just mentioned, the Man City players play with.
each person is there for a purpose.
You understand what I'm
You
saying?
can see why they are.
Do you know one instance that just like
Come
shows
on
you
now.
how pathetic United are? Like they get to a penalty shootout, and Rasmus Højlund scores the goal that finally takes them through. And he goes to the crowd, he's losing his mind. When he turns back, his teammates nowhere to be found because everybody's ashamed. They were ashamed of the performance they put in. Too ashamed to even celebrate. Too ashamed that it doesn't make sense that a guy like Anthony, who cost £80 million from Ajax, is cupping his ears at the Coventry City players who I'm not sure that football club as a whole, currently, if they go to their bank accounts, it's worth the amount of money Anthony was traded for.
Do you know that
From
result
Ajax.
made Coventry people feel jubilant in defeat?
Do you understand? Like
They had a good day.
and
The fans enjoying themselves.
and let's touch on something else. Because there's a segment that we have
man.
today where we're going to discuss officiating, and we'll bring this up. But let me just point this out. Coventry might have gone through if it wasn't for
For the
a very,
VAR.
very dubious VAR decision. And we'll talk about VAR decisions in a sec. But let me just say this, because I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be Manchester United fans. A lot of our viewers will probably be Chelsea fans. And it is necessary to say, like, I need to reveal to you that the hope you guys have is put in false places. Like, because when you speak to some Chelsea fans, they're like, Jackson is still young. No, Jackson is 22 years old. And if you go and check history of players in Premier League or La Liga or
When they were 23,
when they were
on
22,
fire.
23,
You're on
go
fire.
and check. Nobody was nothing at 22 and
How
then
old is Erling Haaland?
nobody was nothing at 22 and then just started popping when they're like 25 years old. It's not
Even Raheem Sterling.
that's not the story of football.
Even Raheem
That's not how
Sterling
it
of
plays
Chelsea
out.
right now, when he was 22, 23, we know what he was
was a
playing.
prodigy.
Exactly. To finish off on this United and Chelsea talk, because I have a lot to talk about. I just like, for the United and Chelsea fans, I think both teams are collectively in a bad spot right now. But I'm more of like looking at trajectory wise, like looking into the future. And I think that both clubs may have very, very different futures. Now, I will start by talking about United. I feel like United fans may be feeling a bit optimistic because they are where they are because of decision making that has been made by people who are on the way out. If you're keeping track, United have a new CEO since what's his name, richest man in Britain. What's his name, the richest man in Britain? Remind me now. You people are
The
here.
new investor in
The new investor in
Ineos
Manchester
owner.
United. Yeah, Ineos owner.
Jim Ratcliffe.
Jim Ratcliffe. So Jim Ratcliffe has come in. Jim Ratcliffe has replaced the CEO. The CEO is Omar Barani or something. I can't remember his name.
The guy from City.
Who used to be at Manchester City, who was at Manchester City for the last 10 years. So if you're getting someone at an executive level who has worked at Man City, one of the most successful footballing institutions in the last decade, they're probably doing something right. They've hired a new football director. I'm not great with the names right now, but also someone who worked at City at the academy level and then went to be football director at Southampton. They're also trying to get Dean Ashworth from Newcastle. So that's another good move. So I think if you're a United fan, you're looking at all this going on and you're thinking, okay, it's tragic now, but you're putting people in positions to make quality decisions. This is very, very different from the years of Ed Woodward and his own cronies. So that's with the United perspective. For the Chelsea perspective, I think it may be looking really bleak because they've left the Abramovich era. They've come into this new era. And I want to say something very, very quickly about the expenditure that's happened at Chelsea, because people go on about Chelsea spending £1 billion on wasted talent. I need to remind people that money was spent. It was mandated for him to spend that money. If you remember, before Abramovich left the club, in part of the deal of handing over Chelsea Football Club to the new American owners, there was an amount of money they had to spend on Chelsea Football Club, which they agreed to, that they would spend X figure on Chelsea Football Club. And I personally feel like a lot of that expenditure was to justify that part of the contract before they can do what they actually want to do and really tend to try and make profits.
Can I chip in?
Out of yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Well, I feel the owners of Chelsea Football Club made a grave mistake. He was spending like an American. He wasn't spending like someone who wants to get into football. Now, mind you, if you want to spend in a new team, you don't just go out in one season and just spend £1 billion. Doesn't make any sense. Now, let me give you an example. When City had their new owner, this is their new Qatari, the Abu Dhabi money.
Yeah.
They didn't just sign 11 great talents in the first
Structure
season.
first.
Yes.
Like,
Now, we can take, for example, Newcastle. Since their new owners, which are another Arab money,
structure first.
yes,
Director.
they have to bring in the guys that they feel, okay, can actually put us at this pedestal, then we can start bringing in the greater talent, and then would make it look like a process. You don't just rush into this. Now, if the new Chelsea owner had actually given himself a timestamp of 3 years to rebuild this Chelsea team, it would have been easy. Now, mind you, when he came in, the manager of Chelsea was this guy who won
Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, Tuchel was the manager, and someone who won the Champions League a year prior, a year before.
Had
you guys came.
about a 60% win
Rate.
rate.
Exactly.
at
He was
Chelsea.
doing great. Then you came in and you just asked him to leave.
Not just that, but then hire Graham Potter.
That is just a very direct opposite
That's
of
a big drop.
exactly.
That's
You were so moved by the sentiment that Brighton were doing great, and then you feel, oh, you can take. That was the same thing that killed United. Because when a great manager like Sir Alex
Fergie
Ferguson,
goes, and then you go and hire
and then you go
David
and get
Moyes.
someone who is playing for the mid-table team. I mean, those are decisions some club owners make. You don't just go in the season and say, oh, you want your club to be great, and then you go in the season and spend £1 billion and act like nothing.
You know the
happened.
thing. Let me point out. Like the thing for me is, I don't believe he spent that amount of money in a bid to build a football club. I believe he spent that
Just
amount of
wanted
money.
to get the fans' love.
No, not even just
That's
the
what
fans'
I
love.
feel.
I believe he spent that amount of money because he was contractually obligated to do so in the handover deal, because Abramovich made it a clause that whoever is taking over from Chelsea Football Club as a mandatory part of the deal has to spend X amount of money. I don't think the new Chelsea owner is coming into Chelsea Football Club with ideas of making them
Exactly,
this
and
grand-
that's what
grand
I
football club.
just said. I said if he had planned a 3-year proposal to say, okay, every summer and winter we're gonna be getting XX kind of players. We're gonna be getting this type of player, this type of player. In 3 years, you can check the trajectory of the new players you're signing to see if they're actually progressing or they're not really doing great. So you can either sell or loan them and get
You
replacements.
need to understand that none of this is being done, because it's almost like,
We-
let me give you an example.
Okay.
It's almost like the Glazers when
Okay.
they came into Man United. You're talking from the perspective of someone who actually has an interest in football and seeing a football club be successful. That's a very different thing from the Glazeronomics and what we've come to know as the kind of like American view on football, because it's very, very profit oriented mindset when you
Yes.
look at football.
Yeah.
So this guy comes into Chelsea Football Club. He has to spend X amount of money because that's what's in the contract before he can start taking out any kind of profit that he wants to make. That's why I feel like he spent that $1 billion not out of the feeling of let's build a team that can dominate. It's more out of Chelsea were spending money that they didn't need to spend. Chelsea were buying players that they didn't need to buy, because this man is trying to meet a quota of let's get this out of the way. Now it's out of the way. Now you can actually like see what he wants to do come to fruition. I really think that the next 10 years is going to be bad for Chelsea fans. Like, that's what I feel, because they're about to experience firsthand some of the things that Arsenal and United
You're talking
fans,
about 10 years. I think in 10 years, they're going to sack like maybe 4 or 5 more managers.
whether sacking, whatever. The point is, they're about to experience what Arsenal have experienced for a long time under the Kroenkes, and what United have experienced a long time under the Glazers until this has happened. American owners are very, very bad for English football. You can quote me on that. Take me to the embassy, whatever. We'll move on to Europe and some of the things that have been going on in Europe, and we will start nowhere else but in the Europa League, where we sat here and we were told to expect a revolutionary turnaround. We were told that if Liverpool were to score 1, there's nothing stopping them from scoring 4. But our bro Cappy Chase, who told us to expect a Liverpool turnaround.
Prophet
Liverpool. Unfortunately for Cappy Chase, that's not exactly how things played out. Liverpool were
they capitulated.
Liverpool were handily dumped out of the Europa League by Atalanta, who beat them 3-0 at home and beat them 1-0 when they went and lost 1-0 at Anfield. It was in Anfield they played the second leg.
Anfield.
3-0.
Oh yeah, they beat them 3-0 at Anfield, and then Liverpool went to Atalanta, and then they won 1-0. So we won't talk like we personal.
Just allow the man.
Let's just allow explain.
Okay.
Explain with evidence.
Thank you very much. I don't have a lot
You
to say.
explain.
With evidence.
I don't have a lot to say, but I think I need to put everything in context. And I need to address this.
All of a sudden, context matters now on the Central Show.
There has never been a time I've spoken without context. Quote me. We have previous recording. You can actually go towards them and maybe
Talk.
And then what I have to say is, first of all, last week, or even before last week, some weeks earlier, there were some predictions I made. They were actually perfect. And even though my colleagues would not love to accept the fact that I made some predictions that actually came to pass, or I made some prophecy that are actually being revealed or being
manifested.
manifested. Thank you very much for that. Yeah. Now, what I said was, Arsenal are not going to progress to the next round of the UEFA Champions League. And then I said Madrid will actually get to the next round.
Chappie.
And then
asking
hold
about
on,
Liverpool.
you can't talk about Europa without starting
Chappie.
with the
We
Champions
have
League.
a Champions
This-
League segment.
Just like I said,
Chappie, we have a
just
Champions
like
League
I said,
segment.
Yeah.
Just like I said,
This guy must.
just like
he
I
must
said,
enter Okada.
there is no way you can set me up, and I won't be ready with my armory and my Arsenal.
Oh, your Arsenal. Really?
Thank you very much. So now, if you are going to talk about Liverpool failing at the Europa League, now, mind you, you can quote me. Last week I said something. I said Liverpool are going to win, maybe 1-0, 2-0. And then I said, I don't know about qualifying, but I feel we could still qualify. But I said we were going to win 1-0 or 2-0. It's on record. You can take me back to last week and actually visit what I said.
Last episode, yeah.
Are there any arguments from anyone, please?
My guy, you
Thank you,
also
gentlemen.
said.
Hold on, please.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, back to what I was saying. Liverpool were they were quite unlucky. The last game, Atalanta played good football. They played great football.
Okay.
They tried to frustrate Liverpool's tactics, which actually worked because for a very long time I've never seen a team stop Liverpool that fluently.
So how is
So
how
they
is Atalanta lucky?
No, I didn't say they were lucky. I said they played good football.
No, you said they were lucky.
You said Liverpool was unlucky.
Exactly.
Yes, now,
So
which means Atlanta is
Liverpool
lucky.
were
Atalanta was
unlucky.
lucky.
Yes, because when you're going for a football game, you have to have your tactics working. Yeah. I know you.
Bro,
Manchester
shut the
United-
fuck up,
Manchester
bro!
United
Shut
fans.
the fuck up,
Una sets me up.
Stop capping!
You don't go work.
Cappy chase!
United
Don't
fans.
say Rocky
you
Cap.
also
You
said
know this.
that
You don't go ever
Liverpool
what?
can go away and overturn that deficit. Did
Cappy
you
Chase.
I
remember-
said it's possible, but I never
Chase.
said it will happen.
Chase! Look here. Stop capping.
Let's leave it very quickly because some people are getting really emotional. So we'll move on to the other European fixtures.
guy.
Chappie did, in fact, get something right in
A couple of things.
in the
Give him
European
his flowers. Give him his flowers.
in the European conversation. One thing Chappie did say was that if Arsenal were to get past Bayern Munich in the Champions League, the quarterfinal fixture that we saw, that he would be out here in an Arsenal jersey on the following episode of the Central Circle podcast. Chappie is currently not in an Arsenal jersey because, in fact, he did get that call right. Bayern Munich did get past Arsenal in the Champions League. I also need to point out that my own prediction was also correct because what I did say was that Bayern were never in a million years going to wipe the floor with Arsenal the way they've been doing over the last couple of times.
Real
that they've
talk.
met
You
this
said
Arsenal
Champions
that.
was
I
not gonna be
remember.
disgraced.
I did say that. I did say that anyone who will
Sure,
get
I
past
remember Chappie was reeling out the statistics. 5-1.
exactly
5-1.
exactly.
So
So
happened.
so let's talk about not just Arsenal, but also Manchester City, Real Madrid. Again, just an absolutely high octane, high quality game of football. Post that game, we had comments from some Man City fans, some Barcelona fans, some football fans random, and also even one of Man City players, Rodri, who came out and they all feel like because Man City had more possession and in a sense played more football, that they deserve to win over the more pragmatic performance of Real Madrid. Before I say my own mind, I'd like to get your thoughts on this particular idea that the team that had more pass completion and maybe generated more XG or whatever it's called, they have it, because if you listen to Rodri's statement, it's almost like an entitlement, like we should have won. So what do you guys think about that? I want to hear your thoughts before I talk. Chooks, start now.
See, I have no business with Man City as far as I'm concerned. All I want is them to drop points tomorrow. Or when they play their next game. Right?
So that's
Bro, my only agenda, as far as I'm concerned, is to make sure that this man sitting close to me, right, eats his words by the end of the season. May 19th, we will be here. That's all I have to say.
Let's touch on something that happened very recently. So game, Nottingham Forest. I'm sure everybody's abreast to what went down. It's something that a lot of managers have complained. Mikel Arteta has complained. Jurgen Klopp has complained. Pep Guardiola. I believe every Premier League manager at some point has had something to say about the officiating in the Premier League. Now, recently, there's been a game where a football club has had three decisions go against them. Let me bring this into context. Three decisions go against them, three decisions that could have easily gone to VAR, and the VAR could have asked the on pitch referee to at least go over and look at a review. That did not happen. And what we now understand is that this football club actually flagged an issue and sent it to the PGOML. That's the referee, the body controlling referees in England. They flagged that the referee who was in charge of that game could potentially have a reason to be biased. He has an association with another club that's also in the relegation battle and could due to that show some kind of, I don't know, bias or whatever. Now we have a situation, three decisions went against them, and they're asking for the audio clips. They're basically going for broke on this. So first things first, what do you guys think about what Nottingham Forest, this happened between Nottingham Forest and Everton. And they got to find out that the referee who was the VAR officiating for that game was a fan of Luton Town, exactly, a fan of Luton Town. So what are your immediate thoughts on this controversy?
I mean, for me, what even irks me about the whole conversation is that when people try to complain about these clear inconsistencies and bad officiating, they get sanctioned.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's for me, it all reeks of victim blaming, victim silencing, and I think that is even more grievous than the actual event. Like, I come out and speak about the way I feel about a certain decision that clearly was against me, and you find me for talking. This day you see coaches doing post match conferences. They say, you know what happened. If I speak, he's going to be taken out of context. But you all saw what happened and everything, and be the judge. I think for me that silencing is the worst part of it, because it's like beating the child and telling the child not to cry.
That's absolutely correct.
You beat a child wrongfully. Let me even put it wrongfully, right? Accuse the child wrongfully, and the child say, "No be me, no be me, no be me." You beat him. Then you later find out that the money you kept somewhere, you actually saw it, but you're telling the child, "Come on, no cry. No, you only I beat you."
Yeah.
That's
a
the clear analogy of it.
Yeah.
And for me, that really sucks. And I think the referees association in the EPL.
Well, I feel actually it's the responsibility of not only the teams in the Premier League, but I think the football fans, they should speak up against it.
My brother,
because this is something that is getting out of hand.
The fans can only shout and complain and everything.
No, if the fans say they don't want to go to these live games anymore,
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
A lot are going to happen.
Let's be realistic. It's not going to happen. So let's give the responsibility for change to the people who actually are responsible for it. The referee association need to look inward and ask themselves, really, do they want to kill the reputation of the English Premier League? Because that is all what is going to lead to. A downward spiral of reputation for the English Premier League if this kind of incidents keep occurring season after season.
I mean, Chappie made a great point where you don't see English Premier League referees refereeing games like the FIFA World Cup.
It's just like it's just like the Nigerian league too, right? You see very terrible officiating in the Nigerian Premier League, and at the end of the day, when we go for Nations Cup, CAF, or whatever the case may be, you don't see not one single.
And that's why I used Mr. Clattenburg
as a linesman.
Clattenburg is, I think, I stand to be correct. I think he's the only Premier League manager to have officiated at the referee, that has officiated at the Euro final, the World Cup final, the Champions League final, and I think the FA Cup final too. Yes, he's the only Premier League referee. That's how huge of a reputation he had. He was so good at it. Clattenburg, he was so great at it. He had a tattoo. I think he had a World Cup tattoo on his, I think on his leg or his arm after he officiated the World Cup finals. That is to just let you know that when you are great, you
World
don't need to
referee.
speak for it. The world will tell you you're great. They will give you the opportunity. And I don't see any Premier League referee now that can get to that level.
Anthony
Yeah.
Taylor.
Now, just some things. We're talking about a league where a referee, I think it was Mike Dean or so, who has publicly said before that they were in the VAR booth and they did not call a decision because they were afraid or they did not want to embarrass
Yes.
their pal.
Exactly.
That's a I cannot bring it out for maybe I'll do something. You could do the research yourself and find it out. But we're saying
Yeah.
a referee has publicly stated that it was once a time where he was in charge of the VAR and he did not make a call because the on-pitch referee was a friend and he didn't want him to
And
feel
for me,
embarrassed.
that's just
And
you know
that
why
does
you
not
know why
make
you know why it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Exactly.
Because VAR, the whole idea about VAR is on the premise that someone can actually make
Make a
wrong
mistake.
call.
Yes.
It is like the God eye. It is
Do you understand what I'm
overseeing
saying?
everybody, even the
So
ref, everything.
he was Mike Dean even making that statement, for example, for me, for lack of better word, is just disgusting,
Yeah.
right? Because the essence of VAR is to correct mistakes.
Yes.
Now you're saying you don't want to correct a mistake because someone would feel bad or it will embarrass your friend, where it is already certain that your friend has the possibility to make a mistake. Come on now.
It doesn't make any sense. Now, this is where it becomes this is the other question I want to pose. Because we approach this situation every time from the perspective of mistakes, from the perspective of errors and the rest. But here's the thing. Nottingham Forest in that game had 3 penalty calls. 3 calls which could easily be given as penalties. Let's strip it off of the context of, is it soft or not? We've seen penalties given for just contact in the box.
Yes.
We've seen penalties given for
even intent.
yeah, for a ball going to a player's arm where the arm is not by the player's side. So these are all very, very easy calls to make. 3 of them, no penalties. Nottingham Forest are asking now to listen to the audio interaction between the on-pitch referee and the VAR, and we've been told that the whatever the body is called that controls referees, they're going to allow them to listen to the audio recordings, but they will not release it to the public, which is eyebrow raising.
Exactly.
Because why would you not want that to be released to the public? We've seen teams lose points and the refereeing association issues out an apology to basically say they're sorry, they got that call wrong. Here's my deal. We have VAR now. So it's a completely different thing. We're not just dependent on the referee making decisions on the pitch.
Depending on the technology.
They have technology where we can watch things back and play things back and review things. Now, if we have VAR to the level of what happened in Nottingham Forest game, where you have VAR, I as a fan, I'm super interested in hearing that audio clip because I want to know what the interaction went down there because those were obvious, especially the last one. If you saw that game, even Ashley Young, upon making these challenges, you look at the expression on his face, and he himself looks like,
don't mess up.
I probably made a bad tackle here. I've probably given away a penalty. 3 times, 1 game, no decision, no VAR review, not even asking the referee to go and have a look, and maybe even okay, it's a whole different thing if the referee goes and has a look and still stands
by his decision.
By decision, not even that. It's starting to look like corruption. It's starting to look like
wrapping up on this, the humans are beginning to get fed up with the VAR. Yeah, the VAR, the meaning is video assistant referee. Like Chappie said, it's there to correct. And so the humans are, previously they say, it's a human error, let it go. I don't know if the referees are now wanting to still override, but we have a VAR in existence now. And so from what you've alluded, somebody not making a call so the friend don't feel embarrassed. There's nothing embarrassing when a VAR call is made. Because the referee is human and may not see as far as where the VAR can see. It's why you are called. There are many, sometimes, I used to hate the VAR because before, as soon as you shoot into the net, people celebrate. Now you shoot, we wait.
You have to wait. Yeah.
You go and check, you verify, maybe 20, 30 seconds. But you see, the footballers got used to it. They no longer care. The celebration is not whether it was immediate or, but that we've bagged 3 points. So, not calling because a friend, that is partisan. And that is corruption.
And that's corruption. That's a
corruption.
problem.
So, the Nottingham has a good call. And for 3 in one match, the club is, like I said before, if you look where they are on the table, are trying to stay afloat. You are thinking of being embarrassed, and a club is getting relegated. It's a big deal.
Honestly, I mean, you look at the money involved, you look at the livelihoods involved, and you make decisions. So personally, I think that one thing that they're doing, which I feel fans need to stand behind Nottingham Forest, and we need to start getting account. I've never understood why you could not contest a decision made by the referee. I've never understood why managers were always banned or fined because they come out post-match. Sometimes, I'm not saying you do that every time because you don't want the referees to constantly feel like you're having a go at them. But there are some times where even as a fan, you're watching it. Look, you're a football manager, yeah? It's your job. You train all your life to do this. I'm coming. Like, you get to the weekend every day, and what comes out on the pitch is, it's something that people analyze and judge your worth as a coach for.
Yeah.
Players train every day of their lives. They come out on the pitch. We judge them on their performance. We come and sit down. We talk about Saka and the rest. And these people are made constantly after performing to step outside, have a microphone put in front of them, whether it's Sky or BBC, and talk about how they feel about their own performance and the rest. Referees can't do that. We can't ask referees why they made certain calls. We can't ask a referee why 3 glaring penalty decisions were not given in a game. I feel like Chappie said,
that's less accountability.
And that's why when I realized that the game is gone, the game is dead, like football in England is dying so fast, was when the Premier League Association, the FA, made this new rule where they said you can't challenge the referee, you can't ask, like when the referee calls for a foul or free kick or they give you a yellow card, you can't go and talk to him except the captain. You can't surround the referee. There are so many things. They protected the referee so much. For example, the Liverpool-Manchester United first leg, there's this incident that happened where Dalot challenged, I think it was Luis Diaz, and then the referee gave him a yellow card. And then at the same spot, he complained about the yellow card because it was a soft tackle according to Dalot. I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, but I think that was a soft tackle. I never expected it to be like a yellow card, but he was carded. And then he complained. Not like he complained in front of the referee, but he just complained on his own, like, why is this a yellow card? And then he was given a second yellow card at the same, and he was sent off immediately. Now, what I'm trying to say is, when you protect the referee too much and they feel untouchable, you have to make sure you put a huge responsibility on them. You don't give too much power to anyone. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when you say no player should go around the referee or complain about his decision or go out to influence his decision, then you should be able to let that referee know if no one is influencing your decision, make sure your decision is straight too. Because if you ruin a final or a game where
the stakes are high.
Exactly. And the stakes are always going to be high.
Exactly. Let's say, for example, a game like Liverpool City or the game of like Arsenal Bayern Munich, where the stakes are actually high, and then you make those kind of silly errors where you give somebody a red, or where you give a player an unwarranted red card, or because you think you are who you are, and then you just go and just hand a red card out, or maybe a foul or a penalty out. It is going to tell at that moment that, okay, this game is ruined. You understand? So I feel there should be a whole lot of accountability and responsibility from the referee.
Of course, bro.
There should be a lot.
Like, you look at a team like Nottingham Forest, for example, who are just recently promoted to the Premier League. And they've not been in the Premier League for, I think, 20 years.
Yes, exactly.
Or so. So it's taking them a long time to be here. They get here, the owner spends, I don't know how much, but
huge lot,
he basically changes the entire team.
The squad, yes.
So you have a whole brand new team of football players. God only knows how much he spent. And then this sort of situation happens where there's 3 glaring decisions gone against him. I say gone against him, it's not a 50-50 decision. There were penalties that should have been given.
Yeah.
They've not been given. They knew that there was a Luton Town fan of a referee in the VAR room. They called it. They were not paid attention to. Now this has happened. The problem is, it's happened. What will happen now is there might be some sort of apology from the referee association. Oh, we're sorry, and then maybe demote the referee to League One for maybe a game.
But
or
he'll
two,
still get paid.
and then they come back eventually. So yeah,
That is not a punishment.
There's not enough responsibility put on the referees, and there's too much going on for these clubs. Clubs spend a lot of money. There's boardrooms filled, chock full with men in suits, spending billions a year to try and build a football team, and they are at the mercy of these people making decisions. And I've got to say this is my personal opinion. The Premier League cannot stand in front of any courtroom or anybody right now and give credible evidence to say that they are not corrupt. There's no way some things happen in that league. They're not. We talk about all the time and we try to be polite and we say maybe it's wrong officiating or it's mistakes or human error. But we have VAR now.
Yeah.
If this thing is happening with VAR there, somebody wants it to go that way.
Well, that's what it is. It is what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the podcast for this week. We cannot wait for some games that are still coming up. Chappie has had a lot to say about other people's games, but Liverpool play Everton very soon, and I cannot wait for the pod after that game.
I'll be hate watching that game.
I'll be watching with keen interest to see.
I'll be watching with hate interest.
Because any loss there, I feel like that's the title gone. That's the Premier League title gone. I want to see your...
Any point dropped, even.
Anyway, we've come to... Again, my favorite part of the podcast where I ask you guys questions.
Oh, man.
Trying to like get a feel of your know-how.
Man.
We need a Chelsea fan.
Mind you, before we start.
Hey,
No, absolutely not.
Shut
before we
the
start,
fuck up.
Nobody is meant to answer any question after someone has gone to the toilet to take a pee or something.
Let's start with the Arsenal fan. So,
oh my God.
Very, very simple. We've got 3 questions here. As usual, I'll ask you per your club. Anyone who gets it. Chappie, let you.
Guys.
This
guy.
Chuck's first question.
Oh,
Arsenal.
man, not me. Let's go.
Which French midfielder joined Arsenal in 1996 and played a key role in the club's success during the late 1990s and early 2000s?
There are 2 midfielders actually.
French
midfielders. There was Emmanuel Petit and there was Vieira.
Okay. Great, because the answer is Patrick Evra. And you even added one, so solid point. 1 for the Arsenal fan. Liverpool fan. How many goals did Steven Gerrard score for Liverpool?
In total. 186 or 187.
186?
Yes.
187? The answer is 120 top flight goals.
Is he in the Premier League going career-wise?
Top flight.
That's
Top
the whole
flight.
career.
Yeah, top flight includes
No.
Premiership.
I think in Premier League he got 120 goals in the Premier League.
Okay, we'll do that real quick.
Yes.
This will not take time. I will just do a quick Google search again. I get my answers from production. Steven, how many goals did Steven
Gerrard score for Liverpool.
Gerrard
Score for Liverpool.
score for Liverpool?
FC.
You owe production an apology if this turns out to be correct.
I'm actually correct.
A one-club man in England, Gerrard made 504 Premier League appearances for Liverpool, scoring 120 top-flight goals. He also played for England more than 100 times in 17 seasons at Anfield. Gerrard won numerous domestic and European trophies, including most famously the Champions League.
Are you trying to say production did not do their research?
You buy beer for production.
Wait, hold on.
My brother, hold nothing there. Move on.
Manchester United question. Which Manchester United player known
Must
for his
explain.
known for his clinical... Chappie, don't bring up phone.
Capiche.
But I love it though. I like
him.
it.
I'm a guy.
If he actually gets it
I'm a
right.
guy.
All right, Manchester United question: why Chappie is going to contest? This is what we're talking about: referees and VAR.
Yes,
if you
now
don't
VAR, you're going to
contest
VAR
it,
now.
prove it wrong. Which Manchester United player? Little Giants.
Yep.
Which Manchester United player known for his clinical finishing joined the club from Molde in 1996 and became one of the greatest players in Premier League history?
I know
Ole
this
Gunnar
one.
Solskjaer.
Ole Gunnar
Oh my
Solskjaer.
God.
baby-faced assassin, as he came to be known.
BA.
Arsenal question. Who is the... so far, it's only Liverpool person has... Okay.
Amen. No, don't say before you say agenda day. Well, let's continue.
Who is the Arsenal midfielder known for his technical ability, passing range, and long-range shooting, who joined the club from Borussia Dortmund in 1995?
From Borussia Dortmund in 1995. God damn, I know this name.
Drum roll.
Ray Paulo.
No, wrong. And we already agreed that we're only going to get people going for one goal. The answer is Thomas Rosiński.
In 95?
In 95.
Rosiński in
You
95?
can also bring up your phone and check and
No.
dispute with production. This is very interesting. What I'm seeing here is on the 23rd of May 2006. What's going on?
Don't do that.
And
Thomas
then-
Rosiński in 95? Come on
And then
now.
Liverpool's question. Let's just check that out really quickly.
The 120 is the Premier League goals. The Nigeria Premier League goal is 120.
Let's
I
see.
stand to be corrected. I'll say that anyway. I'll take it to the bank.
Just,
120.
Which
are
bank?
you
Bia
guys,
Bank.
Go and check.
Your Bia Bank.
Okay, now we've just seen that Steven Gerrard actually scored 186 goals in total. In total, for Liverpool Football Club.
Chappy Chase.
Chase Maker.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
telling you, this is football.
Okay.
This is football. This
Okay.
is football heritage.
Okay, so you know what I'm just going to do? On the basis that you guys knew that the answers to these questions were wrong, I'm just going to make you guys got it right. So that's 2 for Arsenal and okay, you have 1 now. So 2 for the Arsenal fan. Next Liverpool question. Who is the Liverpool midfielder who joined the club from Real Sociedad in 2004?
From Real Sociedad.
From Real Sociedad.
To
That's
Liverpool.
that's Shabby. Shabby Alonso.
That is, in fact, Xabi Alonso. Correct. Manchester United question. Prior to wearing the number 7, David Beckham wore which number at Manchester United?
25.
Wrong.
23.
It's 24. David Beckham wore 24, and then at some point he wore number 10. So now it's only the United fan with 1 wrong. Arsenal question. How many goals did Thierry Henry score in his career at Arsenal? Consulting.
No, wait. All through his career, both Premiership,
How
Champions League,
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
That should be, I think, 290 something. 296.
Wrong. 226. 226 goals. Thierry Henry,
Oh my God.
career goals at Arsenal. So,
All right.
Liverpool
I got
question.
2 already. So okay.
Liverpool question. This one is going to be very, very funny. Liverpool Football Club was founded in what year?
1902. No, 1892. Sorry. 1892. Sorry.
That is spectacularly correct. Chappie, do you have any hobbies? You have a girlfriend?
That is why when I tell you that you need
Do you have a
to, when I
girlfriend?
tell you there's an agenda against Liverpool,
Understand the
understand?
answer.
Why are you warming this guy's fucking
Now,
ego?
clap for me now. Come on,
Do you
man.
have-
I've
do you
got
get-
all questions right now, please. I mean,
Do you have a girlfriend?
Let's take the answer. Let's move
Bro,
on.
let's move on.
Let's
Let's
move
move on.
Last question for Manchester United. Which player took the number 7 jersey after Cristiano Ronaldo left Manchester United?
Angel Di Maria.
The answer is Michael Owen. It was not Angel Di Maria. Angel Di Maria, I think Ronaldo left 2008.
What is it?
Fergie signed Michael Owen, gave him the jersey.
With Van
and
Persie.
then after a while, it became Valencia who wore the jersey. Valencia had it when Fergie retired. Angel Di Maria didn't come till Louis van Gaal
Okay.
came to the club.
Then Depay.
Then Memphis Depay. Anyway, Chappie, what?
Okay,
Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
don't have hobbies like Chappie.
Yeah, Chappie. I mean,
I'm paying
You
school
have
fees.
hobbies. You have
Do you
hobbies.
understand?
I'm paying school fees.
Chappie gives a lot of his time in this life to Liverpool. You know the year they were founded, man.
that mistake was so. Assuming he said Nani, I will understand. Yeah, okay, maybe Nani. Okay, yes.
No,
that's
yeah.
relatable.
Ronaldo
But
left, they
see,
didn't give.
Ronaldo
Jordan
since 2009.
to Di Maria in 2014.
What?
Yeah, that's actually
Okay, so Ronaldo,
Owen, like Valencia.
I think Berbatov.
No,
No,
Berbatov
nine.
never wore the shirt.
Oh, Berbatov won 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of another episode on the Center Circle podcast. It's been real talking football with these guys. Chappie, why you laugh?
Why they come and laugh? People laugh.
By the time we show up on the next episode, you might be the tears you have in your eyes might be for one reason or the other because we still got Liverpool and Everton to check out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. Catch you guys later.
Bye.